your members voted for you to go to parliament, to articulate their concerns, to represent them, to speak their mind, and to act at all material times beyond the nationalism that you must also demonstrate, right? To do things that will be beneficial to them, to do things that will also, demonstrate some level of appreciation for their death-defying support for you and your party, for some of them losing their lives and their livelihoods, some of them being maimed, etc. What you did in Parliament can equally find expression in the very adjectives you used in describing the MPP who are benefiting from the independence today. That your party, most of you, are despicable, are desperate, you are incompetent, you are corrupt, you abhor pork soup but you relish, you abhor pork but you relish the soup. You stand in front of your people and tell them in a vetting, you pretend that, oh, these people, no, we have to subject them to this, But when you go to parliament, some of you absented yourself. About 18 of your members voted for these people. In fact, the very person who was at the number one people that your party members didn't even want to see was Hawa Kumso. In fact, she even had majority of the votes. She had 161 votes. 161. Now, the presumption here is that you have 137, MPP has 137. Where did she get 161 votes from? Where? Honorable, will it then be safe and sound to, on behalf of your party following and the rank and file, say that you are desperate, you are despicable, you are incompetent, you are greedy, you are corrupt, you abhor the pork, but you relish the pork soup. You have betrayed your political party. Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Kwame. They say when your father as a landlord expresses displeasure with your conduct as a son, Kwame, you have no other recourse but to show remorse and apologize. Kwame, let me use this exalted platform of Pan-Africa TV. This morning, the Almighty Allah is my witness. And Kwame, I want to beg of our rank and file of our full soldiers. I want to render an unqualified apology, unreservedly, to the rank and file of our party. And to the many angry members and supporters of our party across the length and breadth of this country. Justifiable as they may feel in their anger. Sometimes even the sense of feeling of betrayal that they may have witnessed. That at least I speak for the minority. And Kwame, I can say without any iota of hesitation that nobody in the leadership and the caucus of the NDC is happy about the most recent events in respect of the matter that you have brought. And so, Kwame, it's a very long story that some of the matters I'll go into. But just to say that A.B.A issue is a matter for which we seek some forgiveness from them. A matter for which we seek to find a way to bury the hatchet, reassemble our arsenals, and turn the arsenals properly on those against whom it should be turned. Because the last thing the NDC should be doing is to be turning the arsenals on itself. And so, Kwame, I recognize, I sitting here, I'm a member of parliament on the ticket of the NDC, not by my strength. In fact, Kwame, I told you here that if it had been left to me alone, I wouldn't have come back to parliament. From what the MPP threw at me in my constituency. Kwame, the MPP shared money for 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even the Monday, what was the voting? Monday, the Monday we were voting. They were sharing money. They were sharing rice. They were sharing oil. They were sharing kakao. More money. Maggie cubes. Kwame, they shared everything and anything in my constituency. But for the good people of the Sanaru constituency, the NDC rank and file who stood behind us, Kwame, I would never, ever have been able to come back to Parliament. Even in villages and others, they were sharing brand new notes. No, Kwame, they did everything, but the people defied it and threatened me with a huge majority.
How would you have felt?
Thousands?
How would you have felt if they had betrayed you?
So Kwame, that is exactly what I'm telling you. The sacrifices the people made to bring me here. So I'm just telling you, across the length from Belleville Country, those of us at MP they brought, Kwame, it was sacrifices they made.
So why did you betray them?
I'm recognizing that sacrifice.
So why did you betray
Kwame,
them?
I'm saving you, don't be in a hurry.
I want to be in a hurry because this one.
Kwame, I have to lay a foundation.
Okay,
I'm
not the foundation.
It's coming.
No,
Kwame.
The building is collapsing.
In fairness, there are some of the issues we need to take them in their proper context. Okay. So you wait.
I'll allow you.
Yes. So please, that's what I'm saying. I'm shaving you. Don't be in a hurry.
Okay. I shouldn't cry more than the bereaved there.
So Kwame, I want to say that, and I recognize the invaluable contribution of our rank and file to what has happened, to bring us and ensure that in this particular dispensation, the MPP, we enjoyed a large comfortable majority, no longer has that pleasure. And so a certain expectation has been built. And Kwame, not too long ago, before you sweep everything away, we were in this studio when the whole rank and file and others were awash with praises for the NDC minority. I'm sure you can remember. Have you forgotten?
Yeah, the speakership.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That galvanized our party. It energized our grassroots, our base. Before that, there were allegations and rumors that we were going to take money. And that in the election for the speakership, the NDC group had been compromised. Kwame, not only did we get our 137 intact, we won votes for the NPP and won the speakership. And like I said, that energized our grassroots. And the same minority who is vilified today was praised. So first and foremost, let us truly recognize that even as we are angry today, there is a potential of good in the current NDC group. And that they had even demonstrated some good before. What has happened is just, we don't like what has happened. Fantastic, that is fair enough. How did this thing happen? Our people say that when you trip and fall, you don't look at where you are falling. You look at where you tripped. So how did this thing happen?
That's the answer everybody needs.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's what I'm coming to.
Okay.
Kwame, as a Muslim first and foremost, anything that happens to me or to a group that I belong, I attribute it to Almighty Allah. That it is the will of Almighty Allah that it should happen that way. Although I'm cognizant that Almighty Allah himself does not come down to do it, it's we human beings. I say, ultimate responsibility will still come to you, the human being. That how did it happen? Kwame, and I say as a Muslim, anything I want to do, Kwame, I anchor my decision on Almighty Allah. In the run-up to the election of the speakership, Kwame, the spiritual and other things we embrace as a group was fantastic. The solidarity we showed with one another as a group was fantastic. The linkages we had with the party, the parliamentary group, the party, all other groups working together in tandem contributed to producing that fantastic result we all hailed. Kwame, I can say without any iota of doubt that leadership, that group solidarity, that kind of feeling of working together in all spheres, Kwame, was conspicuously missing in this one.
If you can break it down.
I just indicated to you.
Yeah. Because we are close to 1,000 people.
That spiritual intervention, seeking the face of Almighty Allah, working together as a group, the parliament, among ourselves as MPs, our leadership in parliament, with the leadership of the party, with the rank and file, with all others, joining us, Kwame, for us to formulate a formidable strategy to deal with this particular matter. Kwame was missing. And that is why I say that all of us have a responsibility to accept what has happened as a collective failure.
What may have caused that?
Collective failure. Maybe we were complacent. Maybe we thought that let's just go. Everybody has a capacity to decide on what you want to do and go ahead and do it.
So you think that was
because, like I said in the previous one, Kwame, every MP and others. Look, I cannot sit here on TV and unveil the strategies of the NDC, what we do in certain instances, because I'll be letting out very important organizational secrets that we have. I will say that. But Kwame, I'm just giving to you that we did everything and gel together as a monolithic group, one solid entity, working together for a common goal. And I'm saying that when we did that, what we did in that is, we didn't do those things in respect of this matter. So to a very large extent, almost everybody was abandoned to decide on what you wanted to do.
Knowing what your people wanted, why you say that you didn't do what you
So Kwame, that's why I'm
knowing what your people wanted.
Kwame, that's why I'm coming to that, because you made some decent. First and foremost, let me correct that. You said most of the NDC MPs are corrupt. I disagree with that assertion.
Well, you are bound to disagree.
That's the number one. Many. What is the basis?
Well, I'm sure you've heard.
No,
that the motivation.
You don't hear allegations that somebody has been corrupted, and on the basis of that you stand on that and assert forcefully you are a lawyer.
But there's no
your allegation of corruption against somebody ought to be when you say that somebody took money, because you are specific here. If somebody took money, that person, there must be evidence that that person actually took money, and the money was the basis upon which he acted the way he did.
Was in your final meeting before the
that's why I'm coming to, and then you said
most information.
Most NDC MPs voted against the nominees. Let me put that on record. Most of us voted against the MPP nominees. Most.
Okay, so what was the number? Because some of them members of parliament are corrupt.
What you are saying,
I get your logic.
What you are saying is what many people say. You just get somebody say the NDC MPs are corrupt. They just don't. Many people. So your statement is not even in isolation. Many people say that. And go and interrogate the vote. Okay? Go and interrogate the vote. How many NDC MPs voted for How How many?
It's not about 18.
So 18 minus, take 18 from 137.
What do you have? Is not good.
100 and you have 119. At least I'm better than Jim Mensah. Kwame, if you take 18 from 137, you have 119. Okay? 119 is far, far greater than 18. A lie? So by no stretch of any logic can anybody argue that most NDC MPs are corrupt. It is not fair to all of us. You cannot sweep all of us under the carpet. It's palpably unfair. In addition to the fact that nobody has been able to demonstrate that money was given to somebody to share on the basis of which the person, those who are alleged to have gone and voted in the manner that you are talking about were voted on account of money that was shared.
But there was near confrontation between Haruna Idrisu and Asedun Ketia in that your meeting.
Kwame,
because Asedun Ketia suggested
that
the party's interest must reign supreme over any parochial interest, and that doesn't sit well with
Haruna Idrisu. Is that a suggestion that somebody took money?
But why then would any confrontation,
I disagree because I was at the meeting.
So there was no. Are you telling me there was
confrontation? No,
there was no disagreement.
There was no confrontation.
Kwame,
disagreement is very normal.
On what basis was
me and you today?
Today,
me and you, if we sit in the meeting with Benamona and we are discussing something, we will disagree.
Yeah, but
so there was disagreement. Yeah, but the disagreement did not manifest.
But it was on the basis of the suggestion that the party's interest must reign supreme as opposed to individual interest.
But and who said that the party's interest was not going to reign at that place? Who said that?
So then why was that?
Who said that? Did anybody? You told that somebody at the meeting got up and said the party's interest will not reign supreme. Who said that?
Yeah, but somebody took offense because the suggestion was that the party's interest must reign supreme over parochial interest.
Nobody who opposed that.
So what created the confrontation? What created?
That's what I'm saying. That I as a spokesperson will not come on television and come and be divulging secrets admitted. You know that even as an officer of the party, I'm under oath not to come out and be divulging matters that we have discussed at a party meeting.
Well, you've not if
we wanted it to problem, we would have heard it at the Makwala market.
But I know what I.
But I'm telling you that
you know what I'm saying is true.
And I'm saying that it is not true that there was a confrontation.
But there was no disagreement because that statement was made.
And I said that there was disagreement, and there will be disagreement at any meeting.
Oh no, but why did?
Have you ever go to a meeting where there's no disagreement?
Why did 18 people?
That everybody should go to the meeting and everybody should. Well, it should not be like some other place where there's unanimity always. When they go unanimous. It's not like that.
I'm not saying maybe you are privy to everything, but we are told, and I'm reliably informed that some people took about 5 million Ghana cedis to vote for the.
Who are the people who took it? Kwame, you see, in a place where we are 137. And you come and make allegations that some people took one. We are scandalizing all of us.
No, I'm saying some people. I'm not saying all of
some people. Am I included?
No, you are not included.
Who is included?
I don't want to make.
Have you named those people?
Yeah, but
once you have not named those people, we are scandalizing all of us. We are putting all of us potentially as corrupt people.
But clearly there were people who
did not.
But clearly there were people who voted for the nominee.
And I just ask you, 18 out of 130.
Absolutely. So
is that fair to? So the 113 fair to the majority.
That's the point I'm making. That the 113 people who did not vote for them may not necessarily be part of the people.
And there were even people like you yourself pointed out.
Yes.
There were even others who were even absent. So Kwame, and I can tell you, Kwame, there were some, and maybe people know, some were absent because of this COVID that we are talking about. We have some of our members and others who were down with COVID-19. Kwame, I can't tell you even the situation of some of them, very, very serious. But the intervention of Allah Almighty, we would have even lost some members due to this COVID.
Wow.
The situation they got into. Okay? So Kwame, I think in fairness, and that is why I have said that I appreciate and understand the anger and this thing of our foot soldiers. And not for one moment will I, sitting here on the back of the power the people have given to us, say anything but to beg them and ask them to assuage their anger.
After the Hamas being,
and pray to Allah Almighty. Kwame, yes. In politics, you get harm. It's a cycle. You will go down, come up, and go up again. And
so then why are you fighting Sammy Jemfi? Why is the minority?
No, Kwame.
Fighting
and that is why I'm saying that fight is needless. All those who are adding fuel to the fire are not doing the NDC any good.
So it means Sammy Jemfi is not doing the NDC good?
And I'm saying that those utterances have been made. That should be the end of it. All of us should come down from the brink. And those who are interested and genuine members of the NDC must realize that it is not in the collective interest and long-term interest of our party to continue escalating this matter.
Did the other people think about the collective interest of the party when they decided not to either show up or vote for the nominees who were unanimously, rejected by your party?
I just give you an example that there were some, for instance, who unavoidably were absent. I told you for that somebody who was fighting for his life under COVID. One of our members, that's what I'm saying, it's not good for me to come and be saying it in public.
Yeah, you can't mention his name.
Was critical, very close, Kwame. How would such a person come and vote?
Granted, that's why.
So I'm just indicating. So, but if you're outside, you say, "Oh, the man didn't come. He's probably one of the people who took the money."
Yeah, but how Akumsin had more than 137?
But I'm just giving you an example.
Assuming without admitting that person didn't even show up. So, how come Akumsin? So you see, Akumsin should have just simply had 130.
So Kwame, so you sit down and do a collective judgment, a sweeping judgment, that the person didn't come. He didn't come because he took money. I mean, what the person was fighting for his life. Are you fair to him?
But I'm saying that
I'm just giving you an example.
I'm not in
disagreement that we pass from outside.
I'm only
just saying that because this man didn't come or because this man was here, he took money.
Honorable, I'm only asking questions on behalf of your people because they send me messages and they ask me to ask you these questions.
And that is why
these questions for the people.
That is why I'm giving you the answer.
Yes, but I'm telling you that if somebody absented himself from it, it means that the person's vote is not that the vote that we're counting.
Justifiable as our anger will be about what happened in attributing the reasons and the others. We must endeavor to be fair. So the first thing is the anger that is turned against most NDC MPs is unfair. It's palpably unfair. And the evidence is on record. That if you are taking, say, our Kumsin got 18 votes from the NDC members. 18 out of 137. So the rest of the day who refused to vote. We should lump all of them together and tarnish all their image. and condemn all of them. Is that fair?
One spoiled nut affects.
Exactly.
Yes.
It affects. That is why all of us feel a sense of loss. All of us. But it is not the same as feeling a sense of loss and saying that you are collectively guilty of, for instance, like the corruption that we are talking about. So that is a sad loss for all of us. And so when they are aggrieved and they are angry, we must take it on board.
But Honorable, don't you think...
And that's what I'm saying, that the first thing to do, first and foremost, is to accept what they have told us.
But Honorable, the disorganization... You see, I'm asking this on the basis of some of the commentaries that I've heard, you know, relative to this whole scenario.
Yes.
People are saying that the first one, you were very united, you were very organized. You decided, you had a goal and you achieved it, right?
Yes.
This one, you were disunited, perhaps, and that is what I'm saying, that perhaps because people had personal interests.
No, Kwame, I'm just talking to you at the organizational level, how it happened.
But at the execution level,
It would have been, and that's why I'm saying that at least as a party, we have to get to the bottom and carry out comprehensive investigation on everything and move forward so that it doesn't happen again. Kwame, I was saying that, for instance, having won, Kwame, it's like you are playing a match. Kwame, sometimes you can be leading 3-0. You are leading 3-0 and you think that, oh, Masa, you are comfortable. Then you lapse into some complacency. And Kwame, before you realize, your opponents have equalized the 3 and perhaps even added you 1 and they are leading you 4-3. So complacency and others can do damage to your cause, especially in the political realm, when you lose your guard and you don't keep yourself as solid and formidable as you have been, which enable you to chalk those results. And that is what I'm saying. So Kwame, not irrespective of whatever, my focus as a proud member of the NDC is that our supporters and rank and file ahead, we are deeply, deeply sorry. I am pleading with them that they should forgive us. They should let all of us pull from the brink. The trading of accusations and counter accusations at this point will not help us. I'm pleading that we pull from the brink and make sure that this thing that has happened will never again, never ever again happen to us as a party. So that we learn useful lessons from what has happened, draw from the brink, and make sure that we close our ranks. Kwame, it's our people who say it, that the mother puppy, no matter how angry it is, will never bite its baby to the bone. Anybody who thinks you should bite your baby to the bone, he doesn't. Yes, in his anger, he's overstretching the anger. Justifiable as the anger is. Kwame, that's why I say that if you have a sore on your leg, your first remedy is not amputation. It's to treat it, clean it, wash it, clean it. And the washing and cleansing, Kwame, is what I'm saying, that we as a party must go down to the bottom of this matter.
Okay.
And Kwame, and endeavor.
I'll come back to you again. I just want to point out to
yes, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Yes. So that we put in place mechanisms. And as leadership at all levels of the party, we should show particular interest in the work of our members of parliament. Because like I said, Kwame, I am not a member of parliament on my own strength. And I'm not a member of parliament, of course, even some would even stretch it that I'm not even just a member of parliament for only NDC people. But just so that in my constituency, I can say the overwhelming majority of NDC people put their lives on the line, work day and night to get me elected.
All right.
So all of us as a group owe them that greedy. And I'm saying that up in this show, at least majority, overwhelming majority, not just even majority, overwhelming majority of NDC MPs on this occasion voted the way the party people would have liked. But it's just, of course, a small number added to the MPP vote, and we have what we had.
Okay.
Just like we had in the previous, where the speaker, we got some small numbers from the MPP, and everybody was happy in the NDC. It has turned the tables down.
My using of corruption, you know, did not necessarily mean that people went to take money. It means some people were weak, some people were soft.
No, Kwame, you mentioned money.
To derail
Kwame,
from the path.
Kwame, you mentioned that even some people told you that some people went and mentioned
No. That's one day I heard. That some people
yes.
5 million Ghana. That's one I heard.
Masa, and I'm saying something, look, the person who said it, let him name those people. Because look, you see,
but you think I don't know
the problem in this country, Kwame, the problem in this country is that we say things without having the courage to bring the thing out and let us know what has happened.
But I was not to the meeting, but I was able to tell you that there was an altercation between.
No, I'm saying that there was disagreement. Kwame, if you call a meeting today of Pan-African staff, Kwame, when we finish this one, when we finish this program, then call Pan-African staff to your office and hold a meeting on an issue. You see whether you can end the meeting with unanimity. Unanimous in what's happening somewhere, but not in groups where people are free to speak their minds and do whatever they want to do.
All right,
it's not there.
Bernard,
so Kwame, please.
No, I'll come to you again. I just want Bernard's initial reaction on the issue because it's 9:30 already. Because I'm giving you 30 minutes. So,
yeah. So Kwame, my and before I come back, Kwame, my decision is that the NDC working together in unison has always achieved positive results. I want to plead that what has happened should not become a barrier to us overcoming that difficulty, coming back together and working together. Because Kwame, we have a bigger problem ahead of us.
Okay.
Ahead of us for the next 4 years. Kwame, there are bigger and there are more weightier issues coming before Parliament.
Yes.
With this group, because today the parliamentary group is the most potent force for the NDC.
But they said they can't trust you again.
Oh, Kwame, I think it's the fit of anger. I want to assure you that the good rank and file of the NDC, they will come back and reimpose their trust on the parliamentary majority.
Okay.
Because, Kwame, whether we like it or not, this is the parliamentary group that will be at the forefront of championing the hopes and aspirations of the NDC.
Okay.
And we have to do everything possible to make sure that if there are things that are dirty and bad in it, we should clean it, put it in a very good pedestal, and make sure that it works for the interests and aspirations of the NDC.
But I would indulge us 5 messages here and on Facebook. What is going on? Honorable A.B.A Fuseini, watching live from New York City. Sammy Jeffy's anger is echoed across the rank and file of the grassroots. Make no mistake about that. This one says, shame on all of you. This one says, stomach direction MPs who voted for them. Juliana Belinda Obri says, MPP don't have any legacy, so they want to clean all of Nkrumah's projects. This one says, God will punish all those who voted. Moral rights have you got to... Okay. It says, what moral right have you got to criticize the president? But just so you know, Honorable A.B.A Fuseini did not vote. No, to criticize the president. That's what he's saying that.
Yeah, so he cannot accept my moral right.
No, you see, but the point is that honorable.
I will have a moral right.
Of course. But you should appreciate the fact that...
Unless he produces my I said, look, you should produce it.
But Admona, you have listened to Honorable A.B.A Fuseini. You've listened. Listen, the messages are a lot, but... I'm just asking questions. I hope Honorable is okay with that. I was just asking questions.
No problem.
Bernard, please.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, thank you.
For my several years of knowing Alhaji A.B.A Fuseini, I have not come across him fumble the way he is fumbling this morning. And that he's not able to push.
I disagree with you. I have not fumbled. You may disagree with what I'm saying, but I think let's be fair to one another.
I have not fumbled. I have made my point as clearly as I can be, and the listeners can bear the point testimony. I was not even stammering. I was flowing like a river.
Bernard.
I repeat, and Alhaji A.B.A Fuseini knows the high respect I hold for him. But I've never seen him fumble the way he has fumbled this morning, particularly in an attempt to defend the indefensible and trying to bring everybody to page. Of course, it's acceptable that as a leader, A.B.A Fuseini should do everything to plead on behalf of the rest of his colleagues for the shoddy and despicable works that they have done. Last night, Alhaji, this thing that we are talking about is serious. Kwame, even you, in an attempt to ensure that the Akufo-Addo regime does not retain power, you participated in mass activities in this country. Yesterday, an uncle of mine who is clothed in MPP started giving me videos of events that I have led in this country. I showed you some this morning.
Yeah.
And after the series of videos, some of which I even told you, that if you see the way I was walking, you know that I was not in good health at the time. We took risk so that the wrongs that Akufo-Addo was doing the wrongs were not repeated, because his re-election would have led to the continuation of those wrongs. And what did my uncle say? He said that he wants to remind me that we levied for a group of people that cannot stand on principle. That was my uncle referring to the things that we did. People died. Dinagla, the general secretary of the Igle party, all majority today, to override them. You stood and people hailed you, celebrated you, and went ahead to say that Ghana was in a new dawn of parliamentary democracy. People hailed you when we saw at the appointments committee the kind of researched questions and probings you pointed out to the nominees. People hailed you even before your initial verdict could come. People hailed you. We applauded you and said that this is a new appointments committee that we have witnessed in the annals of our country's democracy. Why were people hailing you in all this? Because they thought that your actions were in sync with their thinking, and they thought that a new day of democratic growth has arrived in our country. So people did all this. They kept applauding you. I have seen people living in China, Baba Musa and Co., writing copiously, hailing you for a good job you are doing. Even when you decided to more or less approve at the committee level what they describe as the 3 killer ministers. That is the Minister for Defense, the Minister for National Security, and the Minister for Interior. Because of what they occasioned at Ayawaso West Wagon, what occasioned in Techiman, what occasioned when the people were to go and register, and Dominic Nitiwul of all decided to send soldiers to some places and was courageous and bolded to come and say that they sent them there to go and prevent other people from coming to register. You still went ahead to pass them. Your people were bitter. Not your people, all of us were bitter. But they took it lightly. And when they realized that some of the ministers, particularly those who were arrogant, were the people you flagged and said that they could not, everybody started clapping for you. And they said, this day has arrived. What then happened? After all this, the explanation I'm getting on this table is that some of our members were sick. It is only the minority members that were suffering from COVID. You want to say the other side, they were not suffering, or they don't have casualties among them. Why is there a whip system in parliament? Why is it that some members of the NDC did not come to parliament? Why is it that somebody was speaking yesterday and said that he was not even called, that there was going to be a vote? Why? Because the whip system was supposed to enable everybody that there's going to be a crucial vote, and that we are taking a certain stance. And so because we are taking that stance, it was important that whatever you were doing, you come and participate in that vote. The whip did not apply. They were not called. So it said that some of your people did not even know that there was that crucial vote to be taken. They didn't show up. And you see, Kwame, what would have informed a decision that a vote of this magnitude would take place barely less than 12 hours to a major verdict that will impact on the fortunes of your party, your presidential candidate, and everything across? Because there was going to come a verdict. That verdict, by all standards, could have actually incensed or appeased the NDC people. And you knew For those of us sitting where we are and knowing that in unanimity it was appearing that they were going to rule unfavorably for you, your vote on these matters could have been informed. Just wait a day and say, no, we are not ready for this vote. So that you see the verdict. That is politics. You didn't care. So probably you didn't like your presidential candidate and the matters before the court. So you decided that you should do this to inflict more pain on him. And so you did this, which you did. And when people are angry, you get up and say what? What you did, Alhaji, is a vote to die. What you people did is a vote that, look, the people who had died and wanted to continue to die for your cause, that this time you have given them out so that they can be shot. They were killed in Ayawaso West Wagon. It didn't pain you. They were killed in Techima. It didn't pain you. During registration, they died. It didn't pain you. Even when they came to parliament with the soldiers in an attempt to intimidate you, it's not hurting you. And so, what is it that we are in for? Obviously, where I said, we expect that people should be allowed their independence. But when a group of people choose to die for you, you don't betray their love. Because life is given but once. And these people chose that they can die for your cause. And they know that in dying, there is no possibility of coming back. This is what happened. And when we are here, Alhaji says that, look, Alhaji, you know very well, you do know very well, that in our traditional setting, when you go to your farm and one monkey even passes through your farm and destroy your maize, you don't come and say the monkey was there. You say the monkeys. So you are collectively responsible for the shame that you brought, the pain you brought to the people. Why? So why did people labor to get you this far? And I'm saying that, why? Fourth, there was going to be a Supreme Court verdict to determine whether the NDC President John Mahama could lead this nation, or the NDC President Mahama could actually be the loser. And you decide that on the third, you go and do this thing. And then all we hear is that we are here to apologize. We are here to apologize. That apology cannot resurrect the people who have died. That apology cannot bring back the lost limbs, arms of those who suffered. It cannot restore justice to the many who suffered injustice under this regime. Please, Alhaji, it's painful. So, my candid opinion is that there is no need to have the whip system in parliament by what we have witnessed. They should scrap the whip system. My submission today is that the appointments committee should be disbanded, because it's of no relevance. No matter who appears there, the person will qualify. Somoto, they'll push you. So, Kwame, this is the vote. The person who got the least vote, I'm saying that the person who got the least vote was Akoto Afriye. He got 143 votes. So it meant that 5 of the minority voted for him. You understand? The next person is Kojo Opon Nkrumah, 151. He got 13 extra votes. If you subtract 138, that is the majority block votes. 13 extra votes were added. Alhaji, somebody that me and you sat in this studio who could not define what fish farming is. Me and you, we sat here and we condemned the lack of knowledge and understanding of the person's own ministry. She got 161 votes. 23 extra votes came from your side. Why?
Hajia Breman says we can never forgive them. Somebody says, KOD, the current minority leadership is full of problems. Sarah Awuni says, never again will I vote for NDC. You have no conscience. Somebody says, Muntaka Haruna Drisu Bagbin are the chief architect. Well, that's your opinion. I like this man very well. I didn't sleep yesterday. KOD, the current minority leadership is full of problems. Apologies we would never accept. Samuel Jeffrey is the icon of the NDC, you say, speaking on behalf of the grassroots. Bernard has made my day. Somebody goes to support and said, I swear he's made my day. We should see Samuel Jeffrey and Bernard Mona in one party. NDC MPs in parliament are professional Judas.
I can show you these things they sent.
Gerard Ama Kwame, this man is speaking the truth. Tell them how they stabbed the NDC in the back. Honorable wants to respond to a few of the things that Bernard said. Bernard, Honorable, let's hear you.
Yes, Kwame.
Yes, sir.
Let me again, because Bernard kept on saying,
You're
fumbling, as if to pronounce me even guilty. And I want to
be pained.
No.
want you to be
It's not you who will let me be pained.
I want you to be pained.
Kwame, I can tell you that even up to the following morning and other days, I didn't eat.
Wow.
It doesn't have to take you to prick me for me to be pained.
You are pained by it.
In all my life, Bernard, I don't want to become emotional. Kwame, in all my life, even under the guise of the MPP, I have seen before the God that I worship.
I know.
I have seen money. I have been promised money, Kwame. And the Almighty Allah is my judge. I have never ever, Kwame, taken a dime from them to do the bidding of anybody.
I know.
So if anybody makes that allegation, Kwame, is a pain in my heart. Especially for where I have reached. It's very painful. So Kwame, let me say without any iota of hesitation. And when I began my presentation, I made it clear that this is not an issue for which anybody will defend. And so if I'm accused that, oh, I came to defend the indefensible, Kwame, what does that mean? It means I'm not even mindful of what has happened. And I've come in to put a defense for the indefensible. Is that what I did here, Kwame? Because I said it ab initio that what has happened is a collective guilt of all of us. And for all of us, we felt a sense of shame that this thing happened to us. Having come from a background where we did this into the pleasure of all the rank and file. So there's nothing we can do but to apologize to them and plead with them for forgiveness. Is that not what I said, Kwame? That the only thing we can do at the moment is to apologize to the rank and file of our people and ask for forgiveness. So, Kwame, if we will not forgive one another and NDC and go for, so we are going to throw the party away. We are going to throw the NDC parliamentary. So the NDC parliamentary group, we don't need you again. Go. And for 4 years, what is the vanguard for the defense of the NDC? Is that what we want? And that's why I said that even angry as we are, we have a right to be angry about what has happened. Let us express our anger. No two ways about it. We have a right to be angry. But in our anger, we should be measured. That if you go overboard with your anger, even the weapon that you have for fighting your opponent, you destroy that weapon and you give the MPP a field day. Is that what we want? So yes, the things that are happening that are untoward, that are bad, let us speak against them. More importantly, let us act against them as a party. Let us institute a probe. Let us find out what happened. How come that this went on? If it's possible, even from our parliamentary ranks, we can find a way of finding out who did what. Why not? So that we all, it's a process of repair. Any human being, tell me any human being on the surface of this earth who is infallible. Are you infallible? Benamona, are you infallible? You do things, you apologize to people. And when you do those things and you apologize to those people, you tell them that they should not accept your apology. Why in this particular instance? Because it is not any stiff-necked person who is coming and saying that, oh, I'm going to defend what I did. Not a single person can defend what has happened. And that's why I say indefensible as it is. The only thing, sensible thing we can do now is to assuage the head feelings of our people. Is to plead with them for forgiveness. And take steps. Give them the assurance that what has happened will never happen again. And we take steps to make sure that it never happens again. Because you still need the NDC, you still need the parliamentary group to fight the cause of the NDC for the 4 years. Otherwise, we are handing this country free of charge to the highness. And there will be nothing left in this country. What will be the basis for opposing them again? So, Kwame, that is exactly why I'm saying that it is important that we look at the way forward. Angry as we are, legitimate right to be angry about what has happened, but we have a lot of work ahead of us. So we should not look forward. Destroy everything now. Because it has happened, let's destroy everything. And everybody should be condemned, disbanded, killed. Everything should be put asunder. And what happens? And hand over the country free of charge to the MPP.
But Mr. Pratt suggests that you are the ones who are doing that.
So that is exactly the point I'm saying. And that is what we are crying against. Am I lying? So if we are crying against that, we'll go and do a similar thing, and this one will be even a total handover. Worse than even what we are complaining against. Because some few people, 18 people, 3 people, 5 people here, they have done something that all of us are complaining. Even when I said the majority did not even support that move. So now we are just going to jettison the whole majority. All the 137, condemn all of them, finish all of them. And none of them has a role to play again in the defense of the NDC again. Is that what we want? Is that what is good for the NDC and this country? So, Kwame, let's separate the matters. The act itself is indefensible. And I've said it here without any, and I've said it, I'll be one of those people who come out openly and say that. It's indefensible. Let's assuage the anger of our people and tell them it was bad, it should never happen again. Beyond that, what do we do going forward? You can't always ensconce yourself in the past. The past should be a corrective measure for you to look at the future, so that you know exactly what you can do. But if we finish that one, and on the basis of that, like I said, Kwame, they are very decent members of the NDC minority who can never be bribed. I can tell you. Why? In every society, you may have some a few people and others, and as a result of that, it tarnishes the decision of the entire group. Yeah, you can say that. But it is up to the group to begin to take steps to make sure that those things are righted, so that we don't get into a situation where you have the sacrifice of this thing. And that is why I'm making a distinction between expressing the misgivings about what has happened and taking steps to deal with it, and then looking forward to ensure that what happened never happens again, and that we position the NDC group to play a more vanguard role in the defense of the national interest as we go forward. Otherwise, where will they really have an instrument for defending the national interest in Parliament? Which other institution?
Very good question.
So, Kwame, that one is unequivocal. That is damnable as anybody may put it. Steps must be taken to find out what happened. Why did it happen? Could it have been prevented? And what steps we might take to make sure that in future such a thing does not happen again.
Right.
Those are things we should do.
Okay. Bernard, you also want to respond to a few things that Honorable has said.
You see, and Kwame, let me add just this. Look, Kwame, we use every parliamentary means, and I'm saying it here advisedly, on that day, Kwame, to stop the vote, like I said, because many of our members were not present. Kwame, and when I say this COVID thing, it is not to say that only NDC people have COVID. Kwame, remember when this COVID started? In fact, most of the people they mentioned were MPP people. You remember? At that time, did you hear any NDC member who was started at that time for COVID?
No.
So some of these things happen over time. It just happened that at this particular time, some of our members, unfortunately, got caught by the disease. And like I told you, in the case of even World War, it was very critical, very critical. It's only the Almighty Allah. And as I speak to you, one or two are actually fighting for their life. Very difficult situation. Kwame. So in those cases, there's very little or nothing you can do about this. There were some, in fact, my this is that 1 or 2 even out of the country. Okay, you can ask a legitimate question. How come at this crucial time somebody is traveling outside the country? Legitimate question. I would not fault anybody for asking that question. Because as members of parliament, Kwame, you don't need, if you are a conscious member of parliament, Kwame, you don't need anybody to tell you to be abreast with the parliamentary calendar. Because we went on break. We came back on Tuesday. You should have known that as a member of parliament, back from this break, there will be crucial business on the floor of the house. So even here, you don't even need the whip to tell you. As a member of parliament, you should know that there's crucial business in the house, and you should be in the house. So if you don't know that, you are derelict in your duty.
Okay.
So Kwame, like I told you, we fought this thing all the way. We use every parliamentary procedure. Look, anybody who was there will tell you, we even started, even before Mr. Speaker, that copies of the report of the appointment committee have not been made available to members of parliament.
So that's another issue.
So members of parliament, Kwame, I was up and indicated that, look, I never had a copy of the thing. How was I going to participate actively in the debate?
So they could have agended.
So Kwame, it was there. And so we all asked that in the face of this one, it is proper to go for an adjournment.
And the speaker defied.
So Kwame, no, I don't want to. That's what I say, Kwame. There are many issues.
Okay.
Even responsibilities at the level of the party. That's why I'm saying that, look, all these other blame game here, blame game there. Yes, things happen all across. Everybody has a share of the blame. Let us, in apportioning those blames, make sure that the best thing to do is to find ways to ensure that this thing never happens again. And come back from the brink and work as a party to confront the greater task ahead of us.
Bernard.
Otherwise, we condemn ourselves and condemn everything and then leave the distance. FDP will be having a field day.
Somebody says, what was Gabi doing in parliament on the day of vetting? Interesting. Bernard, I think that take us home.
Kwame, surely I will be going to parliament today to observe the vetting of the Upper West Regional Minister. I've been there on a couple of occasions. Some of them obviously have done well. Others were just a bump. I feel what Alhaji feels today. And I have no regret putting him through what I have done. So that when he goes back to Parliament, he will appreciate that if it's not even all who belongs to the party that are very pained by what has happened, there is no guarantee anyway that they will from now on be taking the people's interests in the House of Parliament. This is not the first time. And I have said this repeatedly. This is not the first time that any time it comes to the interests of our MPs versus the interests of the people, the MP's interest rises above that of the people. We saw when it was the MP's interest to get their Speaker of Parliament. What didn't we see? Kwame, did you sleep?
No.
How many Ghanaians slept? People were up. But when it comes to doing the people's interests of not letting some people who are unfit for purpose, the MPs decided that it didn't matter. The ship system ceased to exist. So what are we here for? What are we here for? Rightly, people are agonized. Rightly, people don't know what to do. You see, when you get up and everybody, I'm sure you saw some of the messages coming, some of the names that came.
Yeah.
You look, people cannot sleep. I read a newspaper here. What is the headline? Kwame, what is the headline?
Which one? Man dies of shock at the Supreme Court after election petition ruling.
Why? They invest their whole life and belief. And so when things don't go that way, they can easily die. When we go and do some of these things, forgive us. Forgive us. Forgive us. Anyway, I have no
How many
authority.
times have we asked for forgiveness?
I have
If
no
we just start on this
authority.
matter.
I have no authority whatsoever.
I don't think.
I have no
It's too much
authority
to ask.
whatsoever. In fact, why am I even talking about this?
No,
No, why am I even talking about this?
Because you are an intrinsic part of this.
You understand?
Struggle.
It hurts.
Yes, you have every right.
It hurts. But question is,
You have every right.
why?
The question is why Honorable A.B.A
Kwame,
Fuseini has
Kwame,
tried to explain
Kwame,
what
every right.
transpired. My time is up.
Let me,
Benadia.
let me say that to the people like Nuruddin Halidu, who invested their lives and what have you, suffered shocks and what have you, who is watching us this morning and can't believe that these things happened. And yesterday, a sick man, he was lamenting and asking me, Bernard, our people wants to kill us. That is where it has reached. I wish them well, and that they should be fortified. There is a better tomorrow.
Honorable, the message that I'm seeing here, I just want you to know, but you need to address it too. People are saying that, they mention names. Haruna, Muntaka, the speaker, they are anti-Mahama. That is why they did what they did. That's what people are saying. I don't know what your reaction would be.
First and foremost, let me say again.
Before the Almighty God, to whom we shall all answer, I want to beg of all NDC rank and file across the length and breadth of the country, all progressive elements, all those who invested their time, energy, their resources, even their lives, and even those who got killed in the process of this struggle, Kwame, who sacrificed their most precious resource, that is their lives. I beg them, as human beings in our parliamentary caucus, we are falling short of their expectations. It's because we are not infallible as human beings. We have made a grievous error. The only thing we can ask them is to ask for forgiveness. Kwame, I am asking them to forgive us so that we come back from the brink, reorganize and focus on the greater problem ahead of us, which is the MPP. The greater way we can bring justice to them is to work together again as NDC, come back to power and bring back those things, and give them the justice that has been denied them. We cannot get the justice if we surrender the power to the MPP as we are doing. And so yes, I am as anguished as any of them that these things have happened to us. The fact that it has happened, Kwame, like I said, when you trip and fall, you don't remain lying there. You get up and look at where you tripped, draw that lessons and move forward. I'm pleading, I'm begging. I'm on my knees, Kwame, begging all our rank and file, begging all our people across the length and breadth of the country to let us, not just, I'm not saying they should wish away what has happened. Let us all together try and interrogate what has happened. Get to the bottom of the matter, draw very useful lessons, and make sure that, Kwame, this thing never happens again. So that we position the NDC by the grace of Allah Almighty to get power and bring justice to them. Because under this hopelessly uninspired and incompetent God, we can never get justice under them.
Thank you very much, Honorable A.B.A Fuseini. Thank you, Bernard Mona. Thank you to you, the viewers, for watching today's edition of Good Morning Africa. I trust that I was able to ask all the questions that you wanted me to ask Honorable A.B.A Fuseini. I've done that, and I also trust that you are happy with his responses. And I'm very certain that you're also happy with Bernard Mona's submission. It's been an amazing pleasure serving you this morning on the morning show. My name remains Kwame Owusuda. So thank you to the very many Ghanaians who watched me this morning. Those of you who were able to send in messages and those of you who were not. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Kwame Owusuda. So I'll follow back, I promise. I'll see you guys on Monday. But tomorrow, I'm sure there will be fireworks on Alaji and Alaji. Trust me, Alaji and Alaji will be full of fire. And Alaji and Alaji, you know, is hosted by my brother, Senna Numbo. It's going to be an absolute, definitely it's going to be a wonderful show tomorrow on Alaji and Alaji. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Celebrate the holidays well. And make sure that you do more for the betterment of our dear nation, Ghana. Kwame Owusuda is the name. You can call me Champion KOD. I'll definitely respond. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
How can we ever interpret a situation of a political party that comes from a revolutionary tradition, whose arms are twisted and continue to be twisted to take away even what is legitimately theirs by any standard of justice. And this requires a lot of thinking. How can we ever interpret